I'm Deanna Brown, certified financial planner professional and certified divorce financial analyst and founder of Bag Lady Divorce. Get your money, empowering women before, during, and after divorce. We have a special guest today, Brooke Bell. Brooke is a health insurance expert with US Health. And a lot of you who may be going through divorce or just went through divorce, you know you got to have health insurance, but you don't really know who to go to or where to get it or what kind should you have, and it could be extremely overwhelming. And so that's why Brooke volunteered today to be on Bag Lady to just give us some insights on health insurance and how to get it and maybe the best fit for you. So Brooke, thank you so much for coming on today. Thanks for being our guest. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, great. Thank you for being here. So Brooke, tell us, like, if I'm just going through divorce and I know I have to have health insurance, and let's say my soon-to-be ex-spouse, ex-husband is with a large corporation and we have the health insurance through the corporation. Like, now that we're getting divorced, like what does a girl do to get health insurance?
Well, it's a good question, and sometimes can be a little bit of an overwhelming thought to have. Typically, people are on insurance plans with their husbands, large group insurance plans. And if they are moving towards a divorce, they will eventually have to come off of that plan. There are different regulations and laws per state, but typically after 30 days, they would be removed from the group plan and offered COBRA. So they would be able to have insurance coverage for, on average, about 36 months after that. But commonly, the expense is much higher. And so with that being said, there are other avenues and other ways to find insurance and budget for insurance, and to find plans that are really specifically made for that person's needs at the time.
So it's not a one size fits all out there. I mean, there's all different kinds of insurances, different coverages. And so just because I have COBRA, so COBRA is something that extends my health insurance coverage at divorce. So if I have a health insurance, I can do COBRA and it'll extend that. But that may not be the best insurance for me. And then you had mentioned too about the costs. Like, I have seen people who have been with corporations, their health insurance might run them like $400 a month. And then when they go on COBRA, it's like $1,200 a month. That's
Absolutely.
very common, isn't it?
It is, and it's kind of a sticker shock for most people because they don't usually realize how much a company is contributing towards those premiums. So what happens when they go on COBRA is they're losing that contribution and they have to make up the difference. So that's why the premium tends to be much higher.
Okay. So if you're in a situation where you're on COBRA and your insurance is extended and it's costing you $1,200 a month, you may not be able to afford, some people can't afford $1,200 a month just for the insurance premium. So that's a good reason to get in contact with someone like you, Brooke, to see what your other options are and to see if there's even a better plan that fits your needs and your family's needs better. Because in some situations, moms have to still insure their kids too, right?
Correct.
Okay. Correct. So what would be like the first step in that, if let's say I'm going through divorce, I know that my health insurance is going to be ending. What do I do in that situation?
Well, while you're processing your divorce, I think it's important to reach out and to find people that are able to support you in kind of investigating the process. Somebody like myself. So I'm a health insurance advisor. You can call me directly and kind of explain your situation, and I can look for plans. I specialize in individuals and families. And so this is what I do, is I help find a plan that suits your needs. As you near the end of your divorce, you'll have to make that decision about COBRA. You can decline the coverage. And like I said, typically you have about a 30-day window to, stay insured before the finalization of your divorce. So I recommend that people start gathering information as soon as possible so they know what's coming up. If you're in a long divorce proceeding, make the phone call and get some help. And then we can talk about exactly what we need to do moving forward.
Are there situations where someone is going through divorce and the divorce is like really being drawn out over a long period of time, and it's kind of like you're in this limbo process? Can you still start planning health insurance and even maybe get your own policy while you're going through divorce? Is that a possibility?
It really depends on each person's situation, legally, what's happening. I find that commonly people will stay on, let's just say we're using example being on a group plan. They'll stay on that plan until the finalization. Sometimes people will work that into their divorce settlements or proceedings. So it's kind of individual, to what they're going through. But like I said, gathering information, talking to an advisor, picking a plan, all of that can be done prior to the finalization of the divorce. And then you have the ability to make the decision when everything is finalized and you're ready to go. The plans that I have are, they require an application process. So people will call me, we'll consult, we'll talk about medical history and who you need covered. And so we will process an application. But typically that only takes a couple of days.
And sometimes, even for me, being a certified financial planner professional, with health insurance, to me, it's confusing when you're talking about premiums and deductibles and HSA accounts. Can you kind of just cover the basics of all of that, just to kind of give everybody a good understanding so that they kind of know what questions to ask, like deductible, premium, HSA, like, can you just kind of give us an overview of all those
it can
health
be
insurance terms?
Absolutely. It can be very confusing. And that's kind of my mission, is to really demystify that the process, the language. Each plan has, different points. So we can start with just something, for instance, like an HMO plan. HMO plans typically provide services specifically in network. Only one specific network or the types of doctors that you're able to choose from. It can be limited in some ways. PPO plans are for in and out of network. You're usually able to pick your own doctors. And I find that people like those plans because they tend to be very flexible. Deductibles, it all depends on which plan you're on. Deductibles are certain amounts of money that you have to meet before aspects of your plan come into effect. There are plans with low deductibles and high deductibles. And again, it's specific to somebody's financial, to their budget, and what type of coverage that they're looking for. There are things like copays. So when you see the doctor, you have to spend a certain, amount of copay to see that doctor. And there are plans without copays. So again, it can be very broad, and that's why I always encourage people to find somebody that they trust, that they're comfortable with, that will really take the time to explain it. And to me, that's the most important thing. I want to make sure that when people speak with me, that they are educated, they're informed, they feel empowered to make a decision about health insurance, that it doesn't feel complicated. And also, if it is for any reason, I continue to advise my clients. So they're with me for the life of their policy. And so if they have a question, I had somebody call me yesterday and had a question about their plan, and I'm there to answer and let them know, what they need to do moving forward or adjust their plans accordingly. So I think that if you can find somebody to do that for you, you'll feel much better in the process.
Oh, definitely. Because like I said, it can be very overwhelming. What about like timing? So like sometimes I hear things about enrollment periods. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, there are enrollment periods. They usually apply to group plans. So if you're with an employer, or also if you want to talk about ACA, the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. So there are certain periods in time where you're able to secure coverage under those options, under those plans. The company that I work for and the plans that I have do not require an enrollment period. So
Okay.
they can call me at any time and secure insurance. So again, it just depends on what type of plan you're looking for, whether you have pre-existing conditions. And again, I can kind of guide the people, which way that they need to go with it, but they can call me at any time to secure insurance.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because I hear about that enrollment period thing. And so that's good. That's really good to know. It sounds to me like you are a health insurance crafter, like you craft health insurance plans for the needs of your clients. Like this is what their needs are. And then you look and see, okay, this is the best fit for you. Am I hearing that right? So it's not one size fits all.
No, it is
You're
not.
crafting these plans.
You are correct. And I
And if you're not an expert in these kind of plans, I know I'm certainly not an expert. It would be very difficult to craft the right kind of plan if you don't know all of the ins and outs and all of the nuances of these very complicated plans. Am I right?
Well, absolutely. And I custom build plans for people. And really when you give me a call, I treat that call as a consultation. We really get to know each other. And you can explain all of the concerns that you have and all of your needs. And I'm going to listen to that and give you my ear and make sure that I find the best route for you.
Mm-hmm. And so, Brooke, if anybody wanted to get more information or they wanted to get in contact with you, how can they get a hold of you?
They can send me an email at brooke.bell@USHadvisors.com, or they can call me direct if they'd like. My number is 323-702-9393.
Great. And we'll have that email address linked to the video. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, they can just simply send you an email. Thank you so much for being on today. I love that we're empowering women. I'm Deanna Brown, Certified Financial Planner Professional, and I'm always here to help. 904-217-6377. Thanks for watching.